All right, y'all, real quick, we got some breaking news coming out in this ridiculous exchange of Charlie Kirk's assassin and the transgender person that he was in a relationship with.
It was very touching in a way that I think many of us didn't expect. A very intimate portrait into this relationship between the suspect's roommate and the suspect himself, with him repeatedly calling his roommate who is transitioning, calling him my love, and I want to protect you, my love.
All right, y'all, I'm back. Even in the hotel room, traveling is because the grind never stops. We got to continue to push forward. We got to continue to keep the mission at hand, and we will never let Charlie Kirk's legacy or his name die. It won't happen. All right, not under my watch. So we still grinding. But let's get to this topic here. And before I get into the topic, first of all, I want to thank y'all for supporting Charlie with buying his shirts. 100% of the profit will go to Erica. We're going to give them a check, and whatever she want to do with it, she can do with it. We are almost at $500,000 now raised for the family. So shout out to y'all. Shout out to Extreme Apparel, because they helped us do some of the printing, because we were printing out of 40,000 shirts or something crazy. So God bless you guys for helping. If you want to support, we have it for pre-order because we need to get all the orders done to get the new orders ready to go. We don't want you guys waiting forever to do it. We got this stuff, got to be methodical. We got volunteers who are coming in, people in the community that just want to help Charlie and do something right, do something good, do something positive for his family and the cause. So I just got to say thank you. You know, I want people to be very clear about this, and I don't want people to convolute the situation, is that you got to be patient. The FBI's information may not always be accurate initially. That's why you got to be patient. They only have the information that they have. And as they get more information, there's some things they can and cannot share. And so it leaves gaps. So don't try to fill in the gaps. Just let the investigation go along. Because if they ever find out that there's more people involved, they may not come out in the media and say, we think it's more people involved. Because they want you to believe that they don't have anything, that they think this guy acted alone. So everybody kind of calms down and they don't go into a panic mode. But they already are investigating. They already have people lined up. They already are in people's Discord. They already have access to phones. They already have all this stuff going. So I'm just trying to warn you guys that when you see stuff come out, it doesn't mean that they were holding it or hiding it from you. It's just that these things slowly matriculate out, and that also they can't put things out that may compromise the investigation. So just be mindful. But this new development has come out, and my team sent it to me. And this is just a communication between Robinson and that transgender roommate that he had. And I'm going to read it for you so you guys can see it. We'll put it up on the screen, but I'll try to read it here so you can see what the transaction is. It says, I'm still okay, love, but I'm sick, or I'm stuck in Orem for a little while longer. Shouldn't be long until I can come home, but I got to grab my rifle still. Be honest, I was hoping to keep it a secret until I die of old age. I'm worried to involve you. It says, you weren't the one who did it, which is the roommate asking. He said, I am. I'm sorry. I thought they caught the person, is what this roommate said. And he goes, no, they grabbed some crazy old guy, then interrogated someone else with similar clothes. I was planning to grab the rifle from the drop point shortly after, but most of the side of the town was locked down. It's quiet, almost enough to get out, but there is one vehicle lingering. The roommate says, why? Why did I do it, is what Robinson said. And the roommate says, yes. And then he goes on to say that I had enough of the hatred. Some hate can't be negotiated out, which means that he's saying, I can't debate the guy, so I'm just gonna try to kill the guy. If I am able to grab the rifle unseen, I will be have left no evidence. Dummy, which he's dumb, because he left a ton of evidence. He have no idea how much evidence he leave, because these people don't know nothing, thank God. Going to attempt to retrieve it again. Hopefully they move on. I haven't seen anything about them finding it. How long have you been planning this, is what the roommate said. This is what Robinson responded to. A bit over a week, I believe. I can get close to it, but there's a squad car parked right by it. I think they already swept the spot, but I don't want to take a chance. And then Robinson goes on to say, I'm wishing that I had circled back to grab it as soon as I got my vehicle. I'm worried that my old man would do, or what he would do, if I don't bring my grandpa's rifle back. I don't even know. I think that's the short of that. If it had a serial number, but it wouldn't trace to me. I worry about the prints that I had to leave in the bushes where I changed outfits. Didn't have the ability or time to bring it with. I might have to abandon it and hope that they find it or they don't find prints. How in the F will I explain losing it to my old man? And then he's talking about the rifle. No care of Charlie, no remorse, no nothing. And he says, only thing I left was the rifle wrapped in a towel. Remember how I was engraving bullets? Question mark. It says the effing messages are mostly a big meme. If I see notice bulge UWU on Fox News, I may have a stroke already. I'm going to have to leave it. That really effing sucks. I mean, try not to say the cuss word. Judging from today, I'd say Grandpa's gun does just fine. I don't know. I think that was a $2,000 scope. And Robinson said, delete this exchange. And he goes on to say that my dad wants photos of the rifle. He says Grandpa wants to know who has what. The feds released a photo of the rifle and it is very unique. He's calling me right now. No answering, or not answering is what he said. Since Grandpa got into office, or since Trump got into office, my dad has been pretty diehard MAGA. I'm going to turn myself in willingly. One of my neighbors here is a deputy for the sheriff. You are all I worry about, love, is what he said to the transgender person. Then the person responded and said, I'm much more worried about you. And then he goes on to say, and it's the last message that I have, it says, don't talk to the media, please. Don't take any interviews or make any comments. If any police ask you questions, ask for a lawyer and stay silent. It's what this fool said.
Groups. And I think when you start to bleed those two concepts together and create this notion that in this incredibly fraught moment, in the wake of this horrific shooting, when you foment the idea that we have to be at each other's throats politically, I think that's a dangerous place to be.
Why did I do it? I had enough of his hatred. Some hate can't be negotiated out.
So can I ask you? So
he has flat.
Scott, just explain what you just read.
That is the message that the shooter, Tyler Robinson, sent to his roommate. That is what he said. He also engraved the word, "Hey, fascist, catch," on the bullet. For 10 years, we have heard nothing from the left but that Donald Trump is a fascist, Republicans are Nazis, authoritarians, destroy the Constitution,
but that's
bloodbath,
dictator
for a day. And he wrote it on the bullet.
So can I ask you?
And he's been obviously marinating in some kind of information that radicalized him based on what he heard in the air in this country.
So does the shooter who assassinated Melissa Hortman, who was a stated Trump supporter, whose roommate said...
Are you trying to equate these two things?
I'm sorry. Can you let me finish my thought, please?
Please.
We're talking about two people in politics who both...
I'm asking you, does that shooter represent the entirety of the MAGA movement? Of course not. I would never argue that. I don't think you would argue that. So why is it acceptable to use this moment to argue that somebody, a sick individual who committed a horrific crime...
How do you know he's sick?
...is somehow... Are you here to argue for his sanity?
I'm here to argue... All I know is what the prosecutor said today. He read very lucid messages from a shooter who was motivated by political hate, who had a plan to get away with it. He did not sound like a deranged person. He sounded like someone who had decided to take it upon himself to rid the world of someone that he hated politically, that he thought that the world would be better off without that. That's different than some deranged lunatic showing up off the street.
His actions were horrific, but to assign the specific, hateful, violent, awful actions of somebody on an individual on the right or an individual on the left,
I don't know that you're right about what happened in Minnesota.
Of the political conversation is incredibly dangerous and irresponsible in this moment.
Well, I think it's dangerous and irresponsible for nobody to take responsibility for 10 years of the use of the language fascism, Nazi, authoritarian, so on and so forth. It's on the bullet case.
I have seen nothing but Democrats in the wake of this murder saying that it was awful.
You've seen nothing?
I have seen them
literally nothing?
Elected Democrats, I have seen them saying nothing but it was horrific, that they condemn it.
And to me, there's a whole bunch of crime implications that he have in here, right? He have the crime of premeditation. He have the crime of murdering Charlie. He has the crime of discharging a firearm and endangering the public. I mean, he has the crime of tampering with evidence because he's trying to tell a witness, and he didn't intimidate her, but he's trying to tell the witness not to say anything and to conceal. He had every intent to conceal the weapon, to hide the weapon. I mean, all this can be traced back. The investigators can look and see if there was his grandpa's weapon. The investigators can look and see if there's a text message or a phone call that came from his dad that coincide with these messages on Discord. And I'm glad that we have the technology to find out these things. But somebody mentioned me today about can Christians hope that people get the death penalty? Isn't that wrong? And no, I just hope that justice is served. That's all. Because people that shame God and people that turn their back on God, the only hope is that you hope that God judges them fairly. And that's what it is. And God is going to judge him fairly. And fairly in America is that you get the death penalty. And then you're going to have to face God in face to face. And that's the worst thing you can be worried about. This termination of the body here on earth is minuscule compared to what you're going to have to deal with when it comes to the Lord Jesus. And I'll leave it at that, man. I just wanted to throw that out there so you guys have a quick update on this. It's incredibly sad. I'm upset, but I'm inspired by Charlie. All right. Like and subscribe. I'll see you on the next one. I'm out.